Wednesday nights, Afro Economics Live. It's so good to see you. Yes. What a beautiful night. Thank you so much. I hope my chats will work out well for me. Chat for me so I can make sure. Oh, how you doing, Miss Reese? Oh, it's so good to see you in. You are hanging out. You know how it is when you get these celebrities in here. Oh my. I think she wanted to talk about cybersecurity. She's like, yeah. Sometimes we have to talk about something different. Get the celebrities like Carol Reese out, Mike Robb, Weeda Davis. How's everybody? What a beautiful opportunity. Yes, indeed. I know somebody's saying, she always says it's a beautiful Wednesday night. It is. It is a beautiful Wednesday night. I was briefly listening to the news, and it was, just talking about the same thing that it was talking about 2 years ago. almost. Almost 2 years ago. Same conversation. I know they must be tired of it. So we got to make sure that we get together every week and bring something different. Bring some beauty to it, bring some joy to it, bring some new knowledge to it. I wanted to briefly do an update. Interesting week. Interesting week. You ever have when you were a child? I would like to see if anybody would just put in their chat, like when they were a child, what they said they wanted to be when they grew up. Like, what was your, I want, yes. Well, I'm glad you wanted to be something. What was your career? Like, did you ever think about working when you were like 3 or 4 or 5 years old? What did you think about, like, that I want to be, or how people always ask you. I love it. Mike wanted to be a ninja. My husband, I'm married to a ninja. I love it. You are, because you're my superhero. Oh, Carol wanted to be a secretary. That's so sweet. What a girl thing. I bet you, but you know what? I can see that because, like, they would sit at their typewriter and just be going at it. My mother was a secretary for a while. Oh my goodness, she could type. Yes, indeed. I think, when I think about it, how you doing, Thomasina? I can't. Let me move my graphics so I can try to see what you said. The Please share. Oh, you want to be a model? I know that's right. Go ahead, Miss Cook. Mr. Cook, slow down your modeling career. You'd be modeling somewhere still modeling if you hadn't fell in love with your superhero and settled in Virginia. That is so cool. But I was thinking about the first thing I remember telling someone that I remember saying that I wanted to be was a bank president. And I don't even know where I came up with that from. I didn't even have like a savings account or checking account or anything. I was like, I want to be a bank president. And I remember the adults looking at me funny. How you doing, Jenny Jones? The adults were like, where'd she come up with bank president from? So of course, like, nobody, was encouraging it. And then after I got past the bank president, I was going to be, I think at some point I was going to be the president of the United States. I was going to run things. I was going to pursue a life in politics. Miss Sumter, I did not realize what I was saying. Wow. That's a ministry for someone else. Politics, what a world. And you definitely should never say never. Because when people say, oh, I would never do that, you know what happens. So watch my words closely. That's a ministry for someone else. But what did you always want to be? We're talking, Jenny, about things that we want it to be. Why I'm thinking about that, I do not know. But when I was, I know, because I thought about it as I was preparing, and I was thinking about when I was in college. So the bank president was as a kid. You switch, and Cheryl, as Carol shared, like she's entrepreneur, does business coaching and all management consulting and all this stuff now. So, but she grew through her goal of secretary, just like Miss Cook did. She that's why she dresses so well, because she always wanted to be a model. But the when I was thinking about, I was like, oh, I want to do a market update. It reminded me of when in college, when CNBC was just like starting, and it was getting popular. Well, to me, I don't know. It could have been that I just discovered it because I was in business school. But and I remember telling a professor that, hey, I would like to do a business. I would like to be a business reporter. And I remember him saying, why? They don't know what they're talking about. And I believed him. I don't know why I believed him, because I honestly believe that there's a lot of people on the news that do know what they're talking about, because I really enjoy, like, when I'm watching business news, and I like to see them have conversations with each other. So it'd be interesting to see which of you like really think that they don't know what they're talking about. I think that they do. They're not licensed like I am, so they're able to like give out, like the people with the shows and stuff. So they give out, advice, and like, this is the stock picks and stuff like that. When you're licensed, you can't do that. But I do think that they have, I hope they have a good understanding of the market. So I say to everybody, whoever had a dream, make sure that you continue to pursue your dream. And even if if I were a business reporter on the news, and no one else knew, I still could know what I'm talking about. 90% of the people, right, Star, might not know what they're talking about, but you can know what you're talking about, right? So you can always change things and improve everything. So here is my market report for Wednesday, January 19th, 2022. Wall Street's main indices ended sharply lower today, with a tech-heavy NASDAQ confirming it is in a correction after a diverse set of corporate earnings, and as investors continue to worry about higher U.S. yields and the Federal Reserve tightening monetary policy. The NASDAQ ended down about 10% from its November 19th closing record high, and stocks sold off into the market close. A correction is confirmed when an index closes 10% or more from its record closing level. The NASDAQ's last correction was in early 2021, when the tech-heavy index fell more than 10% from the February 12th. It fell 10% from February 12th to March 8th. It was the fourth time in the 2 years since the coronavirus. This is the fourth time since the coronavirus started and shook global markets that the index, the NASDAQ, has found itself in what is called a correction. And today, Apple shares fell 2.1%, weighing down the NASDAQ, while declines in Tesla and Amazon also dragged down the NASDAQ index. Stocks have gotten off to a rocky start in 2022 as a fast rise in Treasury yields amid concerns the Fed will become aggressive in controlling inflation, and it has particularly hit tech and growth stocks. The benchmark S&P 500 is down about 5% so far this year. That's my market report. And I do understand what I was talking about. It is possible. So, right? You don't know what you want to be when you grow up. I love it. And there's still time. It's just the beginning, right, Jenny Jones? It's just the beginning. Miss Sumter, you gonna turn on your camera? We got Jenny in the studio, Mike in the studio. We didn't, but everybody has to turn on their camera. And the studio is members only. We got Kenneth Jones in the studio as well. Yes, indeed. Oh, Kenneth, it's a busy night. So I know Kenneth has on his camera, Jenny has on his camera. Somebody needs to send a message to Miss Sumter and tell her to turn on her camera. Yes, indeed, I see you. Indeed. It is a great, let me get y'all in. Oh, whose microphone is that? It's probably Jenny having a party. Let's see. Yeah, it's Jenny. It was Jenny Jones. We're going to let you party, the partying girl back in again. Mr. Jones, somebody was talking about you the other day, Mr. Jones.
Oh, good, I hope.
They said, JB, I saw Mr. Jones. He was smoking a cigar. I said, yeah, he was showing off. He knows it wasn't health and wealth night. He was trying to get all his New Year's resolutions out in the open. Yes, I still smoke. That's what you were saying, right?
My only New Year's resolution was to keep my email clear of clutter.
You would get me with that one. You'd be like, and you talk about me smoking with your cluttering email. Yeah, clutter, girl. Indeed. Let's go. So let's look at this biometrics, and we got lucky. Miss Sumter, I always call us our cybersecurity expert in the house. And I never try to make her come in on these nights, but I always love it when she does. It is your community service to come in on our cybersecurity nights. I know when I sent it out and I said cybersecurity series, she said, "Oh Lord, she gonna do a series." A series. Look, it's not a series in order. It's just a series. Like eventually there'll be more than one, right? This is probably our fourth one discussing the importance of cybersecurity. I mean, it's a very important topic, especially in the financial service industry. So I think that I just love biometrics. Like just popped out to me because the big question I think is we need to think about, are biometrics safer than passwords? And I don't want to get. Somebody said they think they are, and then I don't. It's. Do you? Who said they think that biometrics are safer?
Oh, I did.
You do? Yeah. Well, I know why you think so, but you tell us why you think so, and that could help because that could help me in my intro, and I won't have to say about all of this stuff. Let's see what you say. What you say?
If the goal is to protect the secure data, definitely having the external party. I'm echoing.
Somebody try to invite you to something. Somebody asked you to come to a party because you all of that. She's like, I'm not going. I'm busy. Go ahead. So back to your question. My question for you, do you think biometrics are safer than passwords for cybersecurity? Oh, it clicked you out. So you are talking.
How about now?
There you go. Perfect.
So it's not something that a third party or would have. Biometrics is something that you are, something that you do. So as far as passwords are kind of coming or have become obsolete because they're easy to hack these days with computers and the processing power.
And look, I was one watching an interview with someone in your industry, and he was saying that most people, including you all that are in cybersecurity, use the same password often. Would would you admit it?
Yes.
That's what he said. He was like, I don't even think he was from this country. You know what I mean? It was some like, video. And he said, even in our industry, we are guilty, you know what I mean? We keep, he said, so because of that, biometrics, which are using something that is uniquely yours, in alignment with passwords, you know what I mean, could make your life a lot easier and could make a client's information a lot safer. And as Ms. Sumter just said, your username, password could be stolen, right? And then used. But interestingly enough, people don't they don't work they're not as interested in cybersecurity when it comes to social media. We notice that, like in social media, they won't worry about changing their password every 90 days, or like they'll complain. They don't want the social media platform to force them into changing things or doing second level authentication using social media is an option. Where on a lot of my financial service platforms, it is mandatory. On all of mine, as far as accessing client information, I have second level authentication is mandatory on it. But so many like things that clients are exposed to don't have mandatory biometrics use, meaning for us facial or fingerprint, the something that actually identifies to you. My favorite biometric tool, and I know Miss Sumter is gonna be like, that is so tacky, is like the Jerry Springer show. Like when they put the babies up, and then people will be like, ah, look at the baby that looks like Kenneth. Oh, that's Kenneth's baby. That's Kenneth's baby. And then kid got the same smile, born with the same afro, everything, smoking a cigar, everything. So they're like, that is that man, baby. So then they do the DNA, the biometric, and they find out it's not. There's this other guy. She likes all men that have afros and smoke cigars. It's just, it was another dude. It was another dude. And you said it wasn't yours, right? But
I
if it
told
weren't, exactly, you told her it wasn't exactly. Like this, he's like, but the baby came out like this. And the afro. What's going on? So but the biometric is what really determined that it's 99% not Mr. Jones' baby. So that's how, biometrics. What'd you say, Jenny?
Not good enough. 99 is good enough.
Exactly. Look, it's 0.99% chance it could be his. And she like, I know.
It's him.
Yes, exactly. unless unless you find that other 99. Oh my goodness.
The numbers do lie. The numbers do
The
lie.
numbers do lie, exactly. But that is, if we don't think about it, but DNA tests are indeed biometrics, aren't they? Aren't they, Ms. Sumter? That's, on some level, that's what it's telling us.
Oh, well, yeah. Because like I said, when you talk about biometric, it's something that you are or something that you do. So yeah, it could be your DNA, your fingerprint, your signature, your retina.
Mm. The phone was breaking up, so we didn't get to. That's a nice way of describing it. There's something you are or that you do. In the I don't know which one the do one would be. What's the do?
You
I don't
see,
know. A
you can see,
biometric
you
for
can
a do.
see your eyes. You see.
But that would be all what you are, I guess. Your eyes. I don't know. But you get but I did notice, and we'll get to it, that sometimes, oh, let me see. It might be, someone said there's an echo. It might be, Jenny, mute yourself, sweetheart. Just mute
I'm
it.
on my
Yeah.
phone. I'm not on my computer.
Still just mute it for me. Let's see. And the
And I was hearing the echo too.
is she muted, Chad? Girl, why is it so hard for you to mute? There you go. Perfect. She muted it. Yeah, you can tell there's a difference. I don't know. I don't know why. Because you a superstar and it's hating on you. That's biometrics. It's biometrics. It sees your eyes. But biometrics also includes like voice.
That's what I
I
was gonna
believe.
ask. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
It also includes voice. So, like, I hear that a lot, especially at work plans, at work retirement plans. And if I'm on the phone with the client calling their work plan, and then they'll go, "Do you want to record your voice?" And they can't do that when I'm calling in with them. So I try, because they'll call back as I'm introing the call and they won't talk to them. They're looking for me. So it's like you have to make sure if you sign up for the voice that it's your voice. And then some things are not really voice, but they say that they're voice. But my Google is not voice. My Google is activated by saying Google, because it will answer to anyone as long as they say, hey Google. It's not loyal at all. That is not a biometric. I wanted it to specifically only answer to like my voice, correct? Right? Like that's what you think that you're getting. It's like, but it will answer to anyone if they know the word to say. Like
Yeah, it's just the
Alexa,
voice
like I used to
assistant.
turn off my daughter. Yeah, I would turn off my daughter's music. Hey Alexa, you know what I mean? Quiet or whatever, lower, stop. Yeah, Alexa, stop. I would say, and it would go off. It's not. It's word activated more than voice activated on some things. So it's smart, but it's not exactly secure, right? Unless you want it, it's probably somewhere in the settings that I can make it better. But you have to sit down and do your settings and say only my voice, and then you'd have to sit there and record it and really let it know. As with your face, like my PCs are, my face has to be in front, so I can do pen or I can do face. So if you are in the dark, it's not going to turn on. You have to be in the right light, but you can't, like, you can change your hairstyle and it's still going to let you in. Why? Because it's not looking at stuff like that. It's looking at the stuff that doesn't change. Correct?
Right.
Yes, indeed. So let's look at just some of the uses of the since COVID-19, right? It has really helped and moved forward the biometric technology. Would you agree, Ms. Sumter?
Oh, it's accelerated everything across technology. But yeah,
Yep. Right? It's advanced because we're looking for more advanced ways to protect the client. My first point would be identity theft protection. You know, with the facial recognition is moving forward, especially overseas for ATM machines. As a way to authenticate, the owner. That and especially I believe it's in Japan. They're really moving forward on it quickly. The So that you can use that also, like we see it in movies, a lot with the employee facial identification, but I'm not sure if we're using that a lot, other than, which is one of my points coming up, is at where are they
Work.
using facial identification a lot?
Work.
Law enforcement.
And at the airport. Yeah, the airports are starting, especially Delta, where you can come in and you say, yes, I want to use facial identification, and then you get in their system, and you don't have to go around doing showing your stuff every time you get to another thing. That's nice. That's nice. Because a lot of people are, worried about identity theft. So, and then at the same time, a lot of people are worried about people not, systems having your face in it. Isn't that something? But at the same time, this, like, say, unfortunately, somebody was kidnapped that love. We have to know, just as Ms. Sumter just said, there's a whole bunch of facial recognition going on right now. They can see, like something goes on downtown Baltimore. I'm sure in Baltimore, they can take the face of that person they're looking for and run it. I believe, in DC too. Wouldn't you think, Mr. Jones? They can run that face, that ID, and they can say, oh, they were seen at the block and blah, blah, blah at 10 p.m.
I was watching one of the Jason Bourne movies last night, and they were showing that technology, how they can hit the satellite, zero in on your exact location. Yeah,
That's amazing.
it is
I don't
amazing.
know if we can do that now, but they can at least tell where you were recently. You know what I'm saying? Like the movie, of course, is going to take it to the extreme, but it will be there. It will be there. Especially since he was Jason Bourne, like he was way in the system.
And
So,
you
like,
gotta
yeah,
understand, like here, especially here in DC, all these cameras are not up for nothing.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
not there for
yeah.
nothing.
Oh, I know. And people think they are, and they do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things, and it's, by the grace of God, the camera catches it.
Right.
It's those stories, that TV shows I should not be watching, but unfortunately, this man paid this other guy to ride with him and then kill his wife. And so they're riding in the car, and the guy, his passenger, shot his wife, and he told the police, "Oh, I don't know what happened. Somebody came up and carjacked us and shot her." And you ran down the street, and he was in the military. It was terrible. And they were like, who in the military would just run off and leave their wife shot in the car? Like, and then the person, it was terrible. But so after they processed, they found a camera across the street, and it saw that man get out of the car, out of the back seat, and shoot his wife. You know what I mean? And then run which direction? And they had camera of him running the opposite direction.
They have many angles. Many angles.
Yeah, they had all those angles exactly. Yeah, they had it everything. Yeah, and that was inner city. It was, I forgot what city it was, but it was a city that I was familiar with. And the
But that's a
and
double-edged
it,
sword too.
That was in Maryland. That was in Maryland. That
you
was in
remember that?
Maryland.
Yeah,
That was in
I
Maryland.
thought it was in Maryland. You remember that too? Yeah, that was
I remember
terrible.
that. Yes. I remember that. Yes.
But then that
Why
facial
you?
recognition can also be used against people, and then there are also biases built into the software so that and it's been proven that it doesn't work as well on darker skinned people. So your data points don't always match, and they can identify the wrong person or not recognize you at all. And like you mentioned, if you use proper lighting, it doesn't work.
And
So
thank you, Tamara. And indeed, thank you also, Ms. Sumter. Jenny, don't forget your mute. And yes, indeed, because
I am muted. You want me to stay muted? I'm muted.
yeah, you can talk, but it's just I think we get an echo when you just leave it open. I don't know. Hate to pick on you. I know. They're saying there's an echo. And it goes, yeah, you did it, you hit it. It seems like it's like is that better, Queen Howard? And it seems like I can kind of hear, but you were saying that with darker skins, the facial recognition is harder to really confirm, and it even is admitted in the science that it's not 100%. Like DNA testing is not 100%. And so there was this one man who did the DNA for legacy. So he sent his information in trying to find family members. And then the law enforcement ran through the DNA service, the legacy service, looking for a killer. And so they found this man. But that man didn't do it. He had an alibi, everything. And it was someone he was related to, eventually was, but it wasn't him. But they were saying because of the DNA match, blah, 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 blah. And then it became an issue of does that company that you sent in to try to find your ancestors have the right to share your information like that?
they just need to disclose.
Yeah, and I don't think that they had disclosed that, but that man was saying like how much money he had to spend to defend himself and how it disturbed his life. So that would be some major cons of why, right? Major reasons, right? Miss Davis, we not ignoring you. I'm sorry, sweetie Petey. Sometimes, Miss Davis, though, you come in, you all the way live. Past the echo.
You put me time out.
You have to hit your mute too. Exactly. You have to hit your mute button. But yeah, Tamara, it is.
Yeah,
scary.
you keep me in timeout.
Well, you just hit your mute button, and I won't have to put you in timeout. I want you there. I love the colors. Love it. There you go. See how y'all hear the difference when she puts it on mute, and then boom, it comes clean. I don't know. Technology, pros and cons. So the airport security, now we're talking about law enforcement, other things other than what about public buses? They say that Dallas this has a system called DART that they're using biometric technology already to help the police if they're looking for anybody that comes on their train. Isn't that something? It says these cameras integrate biometrics for several purposes, including tracking capacity, medical emergency, and allowing the police to know when a wanted person is on board. But like you said, they don't have a sign saying, hey, if you got any warrants out, you might want to run right now because we see you. They're gonna be at the next stop, buddy or girlie. So the facial recognitions can be used to detect like people that are not supposed to be there. Like so, like say it's a school system that installs a facial recognition program, and then they see this, adult that's not on their list of adults, and that pops up in facial recognition. they could do a lockdown on the school or something like that. See, that's positive, right? And then, also for like who can, as Mr. Jones said, like for who can access the building at work and everything. And the also the financial service industry in general is moving towards using biometrics as a second level and a second level authentication. So if you do face or voice, but also text to you, I go through that all day long. Log in somewhere, and then they have to text me something to my phone. Then I have to put in the code, and but it's going to be like just it's see like Miss Sumter was saying like Big Brother is watching. You might see her chat. She chatted. I don't know why, but it's like and probably because I'm in such a heavily regulated industry. As soon as I got in this industry, they took my fingerprints. They have my picture, everything. I'm so used to being so heavily regulated that I always feel that I'm being watched. And I never really thought that there's an option. I never really felt like, you know what I mean, I had the power for anything to be different. That's what's sad. That, especially like our kids, like, now virtual stuff in school, there's so many pictures of them in the system and social media and everybody has their picture up. So I don't really, I really don't, think about it. But I do know that I do feel that it is very important. Like one time they wanted to do, well, several times they run newspaper articles and things on me. I don't feel that it's safe for me to put out like my full birth date and stuff like that, or your full. And I remember the reporter like, why not? And I was like, you can put how old I am, but not my birthday, not the day that I was born. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like, that's like inappropriate. I was like, I don't, you know what I mean? I didn't feel safe. Sometimes I think that we're in opportunities and we don't think that we can say no, or how is this going to impact me? Or how is this going to impact my privacy? We just kind of play along like I do because we think that that's what we have to do. But we do have the right to question, we do have the right to question.
Absolutely. And laws are changing regarding privacy too. So things like your birth and name and not everybody thinks you don't give up your social, but it is all of that data that you need to be more mindful and protect.
Yep, yep. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I know. And I'm like, when you become a member of Afro Economics, I don't ask for your social. I don't ask for your address. I don't ask for anything, but I need to know how old you are. So I need your date of birth and your name and your email. That's it. I don't have enough stuff with that information to do you any harm. So you at this point are a member, and especially if you're a paid member, then we might go to the next level, and then you actually have have a account with me, a client agreement or something like that, or an account form. But when you're just a member, you're not giving up enough information. You know what I mean? That I can identify you. You know what I mean? Or that you can be at any financial risk. But at the same time, I also, upon becoming a member, I give you a privacy policy that says I'm not going to sell or share your information in any way. Nor do I put up who the members are and their emails or their birthdays. You all your own information, right? So when you're doing things like that, make sure that because you can't rely on, oh, everybody that, everybody's going to look out for you, in these situations, because a lot of them don't think about that. You're doing stuff with people other than financial service providers, but you're doing financial things with them. That's where you need to be very careful. As a lot of people that you're giving money to, they're not regulated. Be very careful. I'm regulated, so the government makes sure that I look out for your best interest. But think about how many transactions you do that you're not. It has nothing to do with that. Like one lady asked me the other day over the phone for my Visa card information. I said, could you send me an invoice? She said, no, we don't do that. I said, well, I'm not giving you my Visa card information over the phone. I don't know you. I didn't know them. I haven't done any business. Wouldn't even, I said, you all have to have a better way. We're in, a pandemic. We're 2 years into a pandemic and y'all taking credit card numbers over the phone? I said, well, if you figure out another way, call me back. She never called me back. Snappy, hung up the phone. What's wrong? I told her, I said, I'm sorry. And I didn't say I'm sorry because I don't like to apologize for truth. I said, I apologize for any inconvenience this has caused you, but I am in financial services and I would not tell a client or suggest them to give out their credit card number over the phone. Well, I'm not going to charge it right now. I'm just going to charge it after we get there. You're not getting my card over the phone. I don't know you. Yes, we have the right to question, and most importantly, we have the right to not do it. Don't do it. Don't spend it. Don't protect yourself. Because once it's invaded, like, it's done. You got to do all this stuff to get it right. Don't expose yourself. And I got your information about your grandson, Miss Sumter. I'll work on that. We got to work on that. And that's fantastic. So remember, biometrics. I want you to think about, like, where have you provided your fingerprints? Where have you used your fingerprints? Somebody asked me the other day about the banks and transactions with there go DC. I love it. We almost got through the whole thing, Star. Mr. Jones. No sirens though. That was only a car horn. We can, that's all good. Crime is down. Exactly.
Today.
But someone was asking me about the use of the $600 shit, banks giving information to the government on the $600 transactions and things like that. And again, those are the things that I'm so accustomed to. But I don't think as people who are doing good business and doing the right thing, you should be concerned about that. The truth is that it's very hard for the government to keep up with people who are doing illegal transactions. And it's called money laundering. So they don't want people to money launder, and you don't either. Because when they're money laundering, they're buying things and not doing the right thing, and sometimes harming the businesses, and then the business have to let people go because they got robbed or didn't, get paid correctly, or some, other. So crime, in my opinion, hurts us little people more than it hurts the big people. So even though it will be inconvenient to people doing the wrong thing, them keeping up with my transactions doesn't harm me at all. At all. So, but I just feel that We just need to make sure that we realize how important it is for us to do things as right as possible and be as confident as possible about what's going on with our money all the time. Not coming from a place of fear. As I was telling a young lady today, it's time to get ready for taxes, and she was like, "Oh well, who should do it? You know anybody I should talk to?" And I said, "I can show you how to do it yourself." And she said, "Well, I trust you." I said, "You don't have to trust me. Trust yourself and TurboTax. I'm just helping." I said, "The government is designed to make a tax form. This is their job, to create a tax form that is easy for you to do. And the TurboTax makes it even easier because you don't even have to read it. They just ask you questions and you do the data entry." So I'm going to continue to push for our members to do the proper authentication. There are some things that we have to do when I show you how to do your own tax return using TurboTax. But once, or TurboTax or H&R Block, whichever one you prefer. And I just like to review it with you so we can just see if I see something that maybe you have missed, then it just, you have another eye on it and you don't have to pay them for having someone else look at it. But when I first started doing this, I was like terrified. I was like, what have I said I would do? You know what I mean? But it was okay. As long as you start early enough, don't wait till the last minute. So when we have our meeting, you know what I'm saying? I'm good. We're ready to go, and I'm reviewing. So it'll probably take at least 2 meetings, because I'll take that first meeting to get you set up. Then you'll do your data entry. Then we'll do the review in the next meeting. But most of you have your tax returns are not complicated. So just keep it simple. Keep it simple. But now when you're doing things like, because a lot of people's identity there's some major problems with identity theft during tax returns, right, Miss Sumter? It's amazing, like huge. So you do have to go through a couple of loops. Like, they want second level authentication. They want to make sure it's you. Some people will be rejected and they'll tell you you need to mail yours in this time so we can make sure, because there are people who will take your information and file your tax return before you file it. So let's get on the good foot and think about things when you're doing things. Somebody says, "Stand here, we're taking your picture," whatever. Think of that as biometrics. Somebody says, "Do you want to swipe your finger?" Like my phone app, has, where if I swipe my finger, it'll open up certain apps. It'll share certain information so I can use it. You know what I mean? Then you're doing biometric authentication. If you're calling and they say these words and we're recorded so we know you next time. I think even the cable companies are doing that. That is, biometrics authentication. Let's see where this moves forward. Let's continue to, focus on protecting our financial information, your life information. When someone asks you for something and they go, "Is there another way?" Even with the Afro Economics membership, I tell people, give me a birth date. It doesn't have to be your birth date, but give me a birth date so that I know if you're grown or not. That's all I need to know, is that you're grown, so that they don't think that I'm trying to, do business with little kids. And as you get to know me, that's why I have the free membership at first, so you can get to know me. You can fully vet me. Yeah, 30 days. 30 days. People get married after 30 days. People get married. And you don't even have to marry me. I'm married. So but we can build something together. We can build your future together. This weekend, I'm thinking of building together. I'm starting a new session on Sunday afternoons called Family Finances. our family, our love, our legacy, and just talk about like just family, starting the conversation about money together. And our first discussion is going to be about prenuptial agreements. I'm joking. Wouldn't it be funny? Would be funny. Let's get right to it. And look, Miss Sumter's like, I know that's right. Good topic. Good topic. I'm in there. Yeah. But I get so many questions about that. So many questions. So, but to address things like that. Just this Sunday, I just want to see if y'all get the feedback, see if we can get it's not just about the your spouse relationships, but it's about family, you and your kids too. You and if you remarry and you have children, children, and you're not both of your children, things like that, combined families, and things like that. I want us to actually have conversations about this. This is the future. This is the future, right?
You starting that this Sunday?
It's the future.
time?
So I'm gonna start this Sunday at 2.
Well, I'm past
This
that
Sunday.
age. I don't need to join you.
Oh, you don't have no family?
I don't need to
Oh.
join you. I don't have no husband. No kids need my money.
That's so cute. I know your daughter's like, yes, you do, mama. That's right. Get right up in there. But it's interesting. And then most importantly, everybody always has something to share. Sometimes the most important you can share is this what worked for me. Like one of our members, she was telling me that when her and her husband got married, everybody kept telling them, girl, you better put all y'all money together. Put y'all money together. Get one big account and put them money together. And they always kept their money separate. And then she said 10 years later, that couple that kept saying put the money together was no longer together. And now they've been together 30 years. So she was like, I'm so glad that we didn't allow them to tell us, you know what I mean, what we need to do. And then, but those are the type of, conversations that we need to have. And it would be great if there's a younger couple that will get to hear or see the comments from someone else, but I also will be able to share my stories, the success stories that the members have had, because y'all have a lot to share. So if you think you don't know, you do have a lot to share. even single men like Mr. Jones. He will enjoy it as well. And single women like Miss Sumter.
I thank you for saying I was single. Thank you for saying I was single.
Oh yes, you are in love. I'm sorry. Not not married, I should say. That's so good. You know what I meant.
I do.
But look, I see your queen. She come up here and choke me. Wouldn't it be funny? She go all the way through. What you say? What you say? Jump behind you. That would be funny. She just come up behind you and come up on the screen. Oh, girl, I'm right here. I hear you. I hear you. I didn't mean it that way. I meant like her, Good point. Good point. You got me right. Hey, man. Well, I appreciate you all so much. Any things that you can share with us, Ms. Sumter, that you were thinking about as a cybersecurity expert, and you really are, that you think that are good points to. Can you share something, please?
No, definitely. You use the level of protection on the account, the information you're trying to protect. So definitely, if there's biometrics, multi-factor on your account, then enable it, your bank, your medical, all that kind of. So definitely, if it's there, because if you don't log into your account, somebody else will.
Oh, so you're saying activate the second level authentication if it's available.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. You're right. You're right. And there's still the echo.
I put my headphones on.
I bet it went away and I took Miss Davis out. I'm sorry, Queen Howard. Queen Howard, is it better now? Miss Davis thinks that we like picking on her, but I bet it went away. I don't know why it does that. And I know Michael's gonna say I don't, but it sounds different. Does it sound different to you all in the studio?
Well, we didn't hear the echo on you.
Mm.
We heard it when we were speaking.
Right.
Oh, it's still your fault, Miss Davis. So, she's like, I'm gonna beat her up. Wouldn't it be funny? Now she gonna come choke me. But so when Sumter was saying, she said, yeah. You see her, she got me. So when Sumter was saying, Queen Howard, back in timeout, yes, you are. That a second level authentication is available on a lot of apps, and we're just not taking advantage of it. And we should go in and check. It might even be available on Facebook, and it would stop so many people from getting duplicates. You think? Maybe? I don't know. It seems like every friend has another friend request, and then they have to go, that's not me. We know it's not you, but it's like
And then don't pick an easy password.
true.
I mean, password 123. You need to pick something that's a little more complex.
So true. That's so true.
That's what
Even if you use it all the time, at least make it hard, right? It's like if you use look, and the ones that get me now are the ones that want you to put special symbols, capital letters, lower letters, at least 10 digits. I'm like, oh my goodness, they should just give me. Why don't you just give me the password?
Oh, most of my passwords, if I have one, they're like 15, 20 characters.
Oh my. Well, that's why you're the expert. I mean, and the worst case scenario. The worst case. And that's what we have to think about. Like, the worst case and why you have to protect it. And we also have to realize that most of the cases of identity theft are by people that are close to you. So, and I apologize. I don't want to say like close to you, but really it is like it's generally someone you know. And like some people tell me sometimes, and they'll go, somebody's using my Amazon app, my Amazon account, and I'm like, oh, you sure? Like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, because really what happens if they log in on your computer, they can log out with your card, your money. And they go, oh my, I think that's what happened. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah. But if somebody does that and they're not at your address, they did that on purpose. You see what I'm saying? Because if they knew where to ship it to, because if it's on your computer, it's going to default to your address. So be very careful if somebody tell you, oh, I didn't realize that. You know what I mean? Well, if you went through the trouble of changing the delivery address, you should have automatically started looking at how you're going to pay for it. Correct?
By you.
Correct.
That's, I thought they'd be like, oh man. JB said, tell him. JB said, that's highly unlikely. We side-eyeing them. But be careful. Look at the stats. It is someone with access to your mail, someone access to your computer, someone, so when they say, oh, set up your things, it's not for like this TV stranger coming to your house, it's not really about that person. Oh my goodness. This Facebook friend, he's deceased now, unfortunately, but he had a date at his house. And he had asked me out on a date way before, my husband's like, what? Like way before I was married. And so he was just asking me out. So some girl comes over his house, sits down at his computer, and goes through everybody that he has messaged and asked me, was he trying to take me out? And I said, who are you? Well, just answer the question. Is he trying to take you out? So I text him and I said, there's someone asking me about you. And her name is, because it had her name, I think somehow she had confessed what her name was. He said, she's at my house right now.
Did you say get her out?
No. And I said, well, she's tripping. He was so embarrassed. And then she said to me, well, I just don't understand why you did that. I said, I've known him 30-something years. I don't know you. What is wrong with you? I said, I had never been out with him. And I told him, and I said, make sure you let her know I have never been out with you anywhere. But that's it. She was ticked at me. But so the risk is closer to home. The risk is not like you're thinking it's, no. Lock yourself down. Lock your stuff down. All right. Have a good night. You all are the best. We are the best.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, my
Good
friend.
night. Thanks again, JB.
Oh, thank you for being the best. We are blessed to have you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You are a blessing.
I should have my phone back tomorrow, JB.
Oh, good. Oh, my goodness. You've been out that long?
Yeah. I just got it off the mailbox today.
Goodness.
So why did you treat me like a stepchild? Made me lock my phone down.
I know, right?
Bye, Jay.
We were trying to figure out what the echo was. But it was really, you were looking so good. I said, let's just get her out.
Oh, please.
Get her out. Good night. Love you.
I'll talk to you later.
All right.
See you
Take care.
Friday.
Thank you. Thank you so much. See you Friday. Good night, Tasha. Thank you. Let's make sure we connect, Tasha. Good night, Miss Davis. I love you. Be good to yourself.